Hey everyone, welcome to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name's Alicia. I'm a craft producer here with Maker's Gonna Learn, and today we are going to talk about the Cricut font hack that you may not know about yet. If you've saw one of our lives, we did this within a live and everybody went crazy, and we thought let's put a tutorial together so you all can utilize this design concept in your own designs. So this is what everybody was loving. So what we've done here is put a font in, made an offset, sliced it out, and we came up with this beautiful design. So I'm going to show you all exactly how to do this step by step. It's super easy. Let's get into it. Okay, now that we are on the computer, I have Design Space pulled up and I have got our Maker's Gonna Learn website pulled up right behind it. I am in our font section. So if you are new around here, we are a membership-based crafting community and we offer thousands of cut files, hundreds of fonts, new releases every single month. And we have so many options here that we're gonna have to choose from. So I'm just gonna kind of scroll down. Now we could totally use like just the basic scripty font. We could use something like this. You're not gonna wanna do it for every single font. You're gonna wanna select a font that is consistent all the way through. So this font hack isn't necessarily gonna work for something like Aztec or Autobahn, but it would work better for something like Brock the Jock. Let's try this one. We could totally do it with this font. So I'm going to go ahead, download the font. It's going to go into a zip folder. Double click that to unlock the folder. And then we're going to select this font and install. So from here, we're going to go back to Design Space. And if you don't already have a font downloaded, when you initially download it, you're going to need to hit View, Reload. And then we're going to go ahead and open up a text box. So let's just spell out the word Halloween. And then what we're going to do is change the font. So go up here to our fonts. You can go ahead and type in Brock the Jock if you want to. Now, with the Cricut update, there's not going to be anything come up over here on the left side. So you're going to have to select System. And it's going to be right here. So this first one is what we're looking for. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger for you all. And then what we're going to do is add an offset. So right up here, you can see there's a drop down. We're going to select offset. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. 0.25 is a little bit big. So let's try 0.1. I think that's good. And then we're going to go ahead and select apply. And then what we're going to do, so this is now 2 layers. So what we're going to do is select both layers. I'm just clicking and dragging. And down here on the bottom right, you'll see a slice option. So I'm going to go ahead and select slice. And then you can pull this down. We don't need that. And then you can pull this down. And this is what you have left. And that's it. I'm going to show you all the same process with a script font, just so you can see it both ways. It's the same exact process. So we'll go back to our fonts on the Maker's Gonna Learn website, and let's go to our script option. I'm gonna slide down here. Let's use Addie Kate for this. Go ahead, download your font and pull it into Design Space. We're going to open up another text box, and I'm just going to write out the word lovely. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go ahead and change my font to Addie Kate. Shrink this down just a little bit. Okay, we're going to add an offset. And you can make it really as big or as small as you want. 0.1 is working for me, so I'm just going to keep it here. I'm going to select apply, and then we're going to click and drag to make sure both layers are selected. And I can even change the offset layer so you all can see it a little bit better. So you can see that back layer is in red, the top layer is in the dark gray. And then when you select them both and slice them, you're going to be able to see that this middle section pulls out perfectly and it looks so clean. So this is just something that you can add to your crafts or your designs, just to add a little extra element of something. People may be like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? And it looks so pretty. I'll show you all the water bottle again so you can just get a good view of it. So you can see how this sort of elevates your design rather than just putting autumn on there just plain. This is just a little bit more elevated. So we like to do that around here. We like to show you all how you can elevate your crafts and your designs in super quick and easy ways just to make your projects look so much better. I hope you all learned something new today with this quick font hack that we came up with. We love how this looks on our projects, and we would love to see what you all come up with. If you are new here and you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button and hit the little bell so you're notified every time that we post new craft videos. We will see you all in the next one. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name's Alicia, and today we're going to be showing you all how to access the glyphs and special characters in your font book through your Mac, through your HP, and through your iPhone and iPad. A lot of you may be asking, what even is a glyph? You may have stumbled upon this video and you're just curious. Well, I am going to explain that all to you all in this video. So if you're unsure exactly if the fonts that you've downloaded do have glyphs or special characters, there is a way to find out. We have a website that you can easily pull and drag your fonts into, and it's going to tell you if your font has different glyphs, if it has special characters. It's super easy to access, free to access even, and I'm going to take you guys step by step on how to figure that out. Let's go ahead and get started on how to access our special characters and glyphs through the Mac. Okay, so once you are into the Maker's Gonna Learn website, we're gonna go to the font section. And a lot of you may be asking, how do I know if my font has glyphs or special characters? One way that we figured out how to do this, other than just literally going in here and then going into our font book, is to download a font. So I'm going to download, let's just do like a regular font. Let's go to basic fonts and we're going to download one, any random one. Let's do Albuquerque. So I'm going to download that and then make sure the file is unzipped. Okay, we have installed the font, and the website that we were using to figure out if we had the glyphs was fontdrop.info, fontdrop.info. And once the page pulls up, we're just going to drag and drop our font file here. So we're going to find our fonts, and we've got Albuquerque right here. I'm just going to click and drag. You see Albuquerque right here, and then if we scroll down, here is all of the fonts, and if there are any glyphs, you will see them. So this font just has the basic numbers, letters. There's obviously like a bold and a not bold, and then there are like our symbols right here, but there aren't any special characters. So let me pull in a font that I know for a fact has special characters, and you all will be able to see all of those using this website. So I'm going to download our Arrow font, which I know definitely has glyphs. I'm going to be using Arrow Words, and we're just going to download this font. This is such a cute font to use. And then we can go back over to Font Drop. And then we're going to click and drag Arrow Words into the font drop. And you all will be able to see all of the regular characters. And then we have all of our arrows here. How cool is that? Not only does this type have different arrows, but it also has these we've got like the O's, all of the E's like that, and then we have these beautiful T's. I love these. We can use these within our designs to make our designs a little bit more elevated. So those are super cute to use. If you just downloaded this font, let me show you what it looks like if we don't pull it into here. So you can open up like this. So it'll kind of look like that, but through the font website, you're able to see all of these question mark symbols. They're actual glyphs. Now that you're able to decipher between which fonts have glyphs and which ones don't, I want to show you all how to actually access them using your MacBook, using your HP, your iPad, your iPhone. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the Mac, and we'll just work our way through them all. Now that you're on the home screen of your Mac, I'm going to select Command Space on the keyboard, and I'm going to type in Font Book. Then I will select all fonts, and we're just going to find the font that we downloaded, the arrow words, which is right here. And you'll be able to scroll and see all of the special characters. You can see these little arrows a lot closer up. So that's pretty cool that you're able to kind of just skim and see everything that this specific font can offer you as far as glyphs and special characters go. Now that we have found the glyphs in our font book, what I'm going to do are select the glyphs that I want to use. So I'm going to do them individually, and I think I'm going to type out Be Brave, and I want to have the end of the arrow at the beginning of my word and then the tip of the arrow at the end of the word. So let's just select any of these arrow ends. I think this one's cute, and I'm just going to select Command C, and then that will copy this. I'm going to hop over to Design Space. Make sure that your font is downloaded before you start trying to do this in Design Space, or otherwise it's not going to work. And I'm just going to go ahead and type Be Brave. And we can even put a space in between if we wanted. And then I'm going to select Command V to paste in the end of our arrow. So we've got this arrow right here, and then Be Brave, and I'm going to put the tip of the arrow over here beside the E. So I'm going to go back to my font book and choose an arrow that I like. I feel like this one is cute. Let's Command C to copy it. Go back to Design Space, Command V to paste it, and there you have it. So now we've got our arrow font. If you wanted to cut this into like a sticker or something, you could weld everything together and then just cut it with permanent vinyl. Now that we went over how to access our glyphs in a Mac, I wanted to show you guys how to access it on your PC. So let's go ahead and hop on over to Design Space on our PCs, and I will show you guys exactly how to do that. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure to go ahead and download the font, and I'm just going to use the same arrow words font just so we can kind of keep it streamlined and no one gets lost in what I'm doing. So I'm going to start by going to the fonts area of our website, and I'm just going to be using the arrow words font again for this example. That way no one gets lost during the explanation. And then we're just going to go ahead and download that and unzip our file, just how we would normally do. And then go ahead and install your font. And then the next thing we're gonna do is come to this search bar and type in character map. And right here is the character map. Just click on that, click open. Once the character map is open, you're just going to select the drop down menu and you're going to find your font. There's arrow words, and then all of our characters are right here. So what you'll do, if you want to select a specific one, I'm just going to select this arrow and I'm going to copy it. Now that we're in Design Space, I'm going to go ahead and type out my Be Brave text and make sure that you have selected the font you're wanting to use. So if you try to plug in your characters and your font is not set to arrow words, then you will not be able to pull in your glyphs. So what I'm going to do, I've got my character map pulled up behind Design Space. I'm just going to pull this down, and I've got my character map right there. I'm going to be using one of these little arrows, so you can just select it and make sure this box is cleared right here. It's teeny tiny, but I'm going to make sure it's cleared. I'm going to select the end arrow, hit select, copy, and then we're going to go back into Design Space. I'm going to come to the beginning of my letters, and I'm going to select edit and paste. So there's the end of our arrow. And then now I want to go back to our character map and select the arrowhead, and it can just be any of these. I'm going to select, copy, and then we're going to edit and paste. And you can see right here, I didn't delete out the tail end of the arrow before I copied the beginning of the arrow in the character map. So I'm just going to delete this part, and then you have it just like that. And obviously you can weld these together so it's one solid unit. And there you have it. Lastly, I want to show you all how you're able to access the glyphs through an iPhone or an iPad. A lot of times people use their iPads solely for design space purposes. So I wanted to show you all the way that you can do that without actually having a computer. It's relatively simple, and you're going to need a couple different apps. So you're going to need two different apps to access the glyphs on your iPhone or iPad. I use an app called Unicode on my iPhone. It is 99 cents, but it works really well, and it's necessary for you to access your glyphs using your phone or your iPad. If you're using Design Space frequently and you're using glyphs frequently, it's going to be very beneficial for you all to have this app downloaded. The second app you're going to need is the iFont app. So this app is free to download. I will link them below so you all will have access to these apps if you need them. But this one allows you to actually put the fonts onto your phone or your iPad, which you're going to need to do first, and then we pull them into the Unicode app that I talked about previously. The last way I want to show you all how to access your glyphs on your iPhone or iPad. This technique is going to work for both. What you're going to do first is download your font. So I'm on the Makers Gonna Learn website on my cell phone. I'm just going to select our little cloud. This is the Arrow Words font. I'm going to select download, and then we'll select this download menu right here, and then I'm just going to select that. We're going to open it, and I have already downloaded the iFont app, so I'm just going to select that in my apps. And I downloaded this earlier, so you're going to see both, but I'm just going to select install, and I'm going to allow that, and it'll say profile downloaded. It says review the profile in the settings app if you want to install it. And then it will just prompt you with these instructions. Just follow exactly like it says, super easy. And I'm going to close out of this. Once you've got your font downloaded in the iFont app, we're going to go ahead and pop into our Unicode app, and you will select Browse Fonts. And you can see that Arrow Words is in my recent fonts, but you can search it down here. You can scroll. You could just plug it in your search bar either way. I see it right here, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then you can see all of our glyphs right inside of this app. How cool is that? So what we'll do next, I know the design that I want. I want to be using the end of an arrow and the tip of an arrow. So I can just select any of these ends of the arrows. I'm going to open it up like that. And then on the top right, I'll select this little box with the arrow, and you can select share glyph, and that's virtually going to copy it. You select copy right there, and then I'm just going to open up Design Space, and we can pull up a text box. You're going to select your Arrow Words font, and then you can just paste in the end of your arrow. I'm going to type in Be Brave, and then I'm just going to slide right back over to my glyphs. And I'm going to select a point to my arrow. You'll just select the square with the arrow, share your glyph, select copy, and then we're going to go back, and then we're just going to paste it in right there. And that's it. You are done. You can make this bigger if you need to. You can weld it, all of that good stuff. And that's how you would do this on the iPad or the iPhone. I hope you all found this video very informative, and I hope that it helps you really elevate your designs by using the glyphs, using those special characters. And I really want you all to take this knowledge and incorporate it into your future designs. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name is Lauren and I'm a craft producer here at Maker's Gonna Learn. Today we are going to be bringing you a special hack that I really think a lot of you are going to enjoy. If you know, when you are doing Cricut fonts, a lot of times what we end up getting are the bubble letters. And I love using Cricut pens because they are such a good asset to the Cricut machine, but getting those bubble letters just don't cut it sometimes. So what we're gonna do is we are going to teach you how to fill in those bubble letters so that you get that solid feel that you've been wanting. Today, the materials that we're gonna be using is just a plain piece of cardstock paper, a light grit mat. We are going to be using Cricut pens as well as Crayola markers. As you can see, we have done lots of testing here so that we bring you the best result possible when you are filling in fonts that are not through Cricut Access. If you are using a Maker's Gonna Learn font and you put it on the pen setting, this is what you are going to get. It is just an outline. This has been outlined with Cricut pens. This next one is with the lines cut file that we have set to pen setting, and it is just with vertical line. The next one is also with Cricut pens, however, it has both vertical and horizontal lines throughout. And finally, this one was set with vertical and horizontal lines with a Crayola marker. In my opinion, I like this one the best, but we're also gonna do something today in this video to show a Crayola marker with the Cricut pen outline that I think is gonna look great. On this side, we were playing around with script fonts, which you can do script fonts as well. This one is with a Crayola marker. This one is just with a Crayola marker with horizontal lines. This one is with the Cricut pens with both vertical and horizontal line. And then finally, this one, which I think looks the best, is with the Cricut pens with both horizontal and vertical lines with that black outline. Now we're gonna hop over to Design Space and I'm gonna show you exactly how you're going to do this. Today, we are just going to be doing this. This one is just with the Cricut pens with vertical and horizontal lines. And then this one we're gonna be doing with the Crayola marker with vertical and horizontal lines with a Cricut pen outline. And I'm going to show you how you can do all of this in one time on the same piece of paper with the different colors as well. So I'm gonna go over here, grab my text box. The text that I'm using today is Rally from Maker's Gonna Learn. And I'm going to add Asher. We are going to then turn this from a basic cut to a pen function. And I'm actually going to duplicate this 4 times. And you will see why here in a few minutes. I'm then going to go to Upload. Once again, this is a Maker's Gonna Learn cut file. If you go to the website and search lines under cut files, this will come up. So we are going to add it to our canvas. Now, as you can see, all it is a bunch of teeny tiny lines. We are going to resize this probably, let's see if we can do it to a 7. That will be perfect. So one thing I have discovered is if you are doing this, the smaller the lines can be and the larger the text or image, the better results you are going to get. So we are going to drag this. We're actually going to arrange it and pull it to front. And we'll go ahead and change the color so you can see it a little bit better. I think we grabbed that raspberry first. After you have changed the color, make sure you come down here to weld so you can weld this together. And while we're thinking about it, we're just going to weld each of these individually because it tends to give us a better cut when our text is welded together. Once everything is welded, we're going to pull this down. Then we are going to select both, and we are going to hit slice. We are going to pull this out. Go ahead and delete that. There will be some little stragglers that you will delete. And then that is our pin function. This pink is our pin function. So we're going to delete out that basic cut. Now, it looks pretty filled in from there, but I want to zoom in to show you all. You can still see, you will be able to see the horizontal lines up and down when you put it in your, to use your Cricut pens. What we are going to do next, and what I should have done from the beginning, we're going to grab that lines again, add it to canvas, and then we're actually going to duplicate it 3 more times. Or 2 more times, so that we have 3 of them. Change this down to 7. And we'll go ahead and change these to 7 as well. Now, if you were smart, what you would do is just size 1 down to 7 and duplicate it 4 times, but sometimes we forget. Now, so we had our vertical lines here, so we want our horizontal lines next. So we're going to take this, we are going to turn it 90 degrees, and then we are going to bring our pin function down. We'll change it to raspberry as well. Bring it to front. Put it on top of our lines. Select them both, and then slice. Delete out this basic cut function. So now we are going to zoom in so that you can see the difference. Now we have both horizontal and vertical lines. Now we're going to take this, select them both. You are going to go to Align and align them center so that they make the cross hatch pattern. So you have vertical and horizontal lines. Once you have aligned these center, they still can move separately. So you need to make sure that they are both selected. You are not going to weld. The reason you're not going to weld is because there are so many different lines that it is not going to be able to do that. So you are just going to attach this. Once you have attached, you are finished, and you can size this however you would like. We're going to size it down just a little bit to make sure that we have enough time, because I will say this, although this is fairly small, with all of these different lines, it will take our Cricut at least 30 minutes to make this. So if you are doing this, make sure you have something else ready to go. In the meantime, while your Cricut is working on this, that is the only downfall of this hack, is it does take quite a bit of time to write this. Okay, we're going to show you one more time just to be on the safe side to make sure you completely understand. So we're going to change our colors here so that we can keep them separate. So we are going to start out. This has already been welded. We are going to send this to front. We are going to bring this in front of our lines. We are going to select them both, and then we are going to click slice. We are then going to take this away, that, and then this is our basic cut function. We're going to take this away as well. We are then going to select this. You can turn it this way, or you can actually rotate here 90 degrees and it will flip it on its side for you. Just so you can see, once you zoom in, those went from vertical to horizontal lines. We are then going to grab this name again, make sure you arrange send to front, and while we are here, we're going to go ahead and duplicate it one more time, and you'll see why here in a minute. And we're going to change that to back to black. So this green Asher, we're going to bring it here. Make sure that you select both, and you are going to slice, pull our lines down, delete that out, pull our little stragglers and delete them. This is our basic cut function, and delete it out. And then we are going to take both of our pen function cuts. We are going to click align and center. Now, remember, once they are aligned center, they are still two separate things, so you need to make sure you attach and not weld. From there, we're going to bring it up here to our black outline. We are going to select them both, and once again, align, center. We need to remember this also needs to be brought center front. It needs to be in front of the black, and then select them both, align, center. And this will give you a really good outline with a Cricut pen, and we will show you when we switch these out how that works. So now we'll just go ahead and make these two. I will delete these other two out. We're going to zoom in so you have a better look and feel for what we are doing. So here you can really see that those vertical and horizontal lines, and see that pattern, and that will really give you a good feel. Once again, this one we are going to use a Cricut pen, so you see what a Cricut pen does. This one we are going to use a Crayola marker for the feel, and a Cricut pen for that clean, crisp black outline. Once we are here, we're going to go to Make It. We are going to do On the Mat. It did arrange it side by side. Just so you know, you can move things around on the mat. You can move these over. You can arrange them however you would like. If you want to have some time in between your different colors, you can actually hit those three dots, move object, and create a new mat, and move it to a new mat so you know for sure it stops. And the cool thing about that is it kept this one exactly where I placed it, and that one where I placed it as well. You can do that, however, you do not have to. You can, we're going to move it back here because Cricut will tell you when to change your pins. So we're going to click Continue, select our Maker 3. This is just the one we have. A Maker 3 is not required for this. We are going to select cardstock. It does not matter, light cardstock, medium cardstock, whatever, because this is going to be used with the Cricut pen function. So here it will show you which pen to load first. So this is telling me that it's going to start with the green and then move to the raspberry. So we will start with our marker, our Crayola marker. So with the Crayola marker, all you have to do, if you open the clamp, normally with the Cricut pens, you can just leave this clamp shut and push this down in here. With the Crayola markers, you will need to open it and then till it clicks and then close it. From there, we are going to load our mat. Once the Cricut has completed the first color, it will then prompt you to load the next color. So the next is telling us to load the black pen. Here is where we're going to take out our Crayola marker, and we are going to add in our Cricut pen. and then hit play. Once again, it is going to tell us to load the next color in. So we're going to go back over to our Cricut, pop this pen out, and then we are going to load the next color we want back in here and hit play once again. So now that it's done, we are going to unload. So although this only took a few seconds for you guys, in reality, it took about 25 minutes for us, maybe closer to 20, somewhere around in there. So please know that this is not something that is super fast. You need to have something else on hand to do while your Cricut is completing this, because it does take it a few minutes to do. However, as you can see, it did a great job filling these fonts in, and I'm going to go overhead so you also can really see how well this did. Once again, this one is with the Cricut pen, which is a fine point pen with both the vertical and the horizontal lines, and this one is just with the Crayola marker with that very faint black Cricut pen outline. I still personally really like the Crayola marker for the fill process over the Cricut pen, although they both work great. So what do you think about that hack? I don't know about you, but I know that I'm going to be using it all the time. If you like that hack and you like that cut file, the lines cut file, and the fonts we used, and you're not a Makers Gonna Learn member, make sure you check that link down below to check us out. Thank you all. We'll see you again next time.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Makers Gonna Learn channel. My name is Lauren and I'm a craft producer here at Makers Gonna Learn, and in today's video we are gonna learn how to fill shapes with words. So what I want you to take away from this is gonna be a very design space heavy video, and we're gonna teach you how to set up a shape and then fill in that shape with a bunch of different words so that we can get a really cool effect. You can see here, we have sublimated this on this pillow. However, there are so many different ways that you can use this technique. As you can see here, we have also made a little Christmas ornament where we have used inkjet transparency film as well as cardstock to make a super simple ornament or gift tag. So stick around, we're going to teach you exactly how to do all these things. But before we get started, let's go ahead and go overhead and talk about all the supplies that you're going to need to complete these two projects that you see here. Starting off with this adorable little inkjet transparency ornament, the things that you're going to need if you want to create this are obviously an inkjet printer. Our favorite is the Canon TS9500 series. That's the one that we have here in the office. We have used it for years. It is definitely our go-to. You are going to need inkjet transparency film. This will be linked down below. We have labeled it front and back because there is a way that you have to put it in the printer, but you can see it looks very similar to like Mylar film. However, it will go through your printer. So you want to make sure that you do have this. Once again, this is linked down below. We have some red and white baker's twine. I have this beautiful white glitter cardstock from Celebration Warehouse. I do have a well-loved strong grip mat. You can use a standard grip mat for this. This is just one that we had here in the studio. And then I'm using this Aleene's tacky glue. This is a precision tip tacky glue, and you will see here in a minute when it comes to like tacking this down, you literally cannot see where I have tacked it and where I haven't. So it does come in very, very handy for this project. Now, if you are wanting to sublimate, we're actually not going to sublimate today. Like I said, this is going to be a very design space heavy tutorial. However, if you do want to sublimate, I will link these pillow covers down below. If you have the capabilities and want to sublimate, you will need a pillow cover and then your sublimation printer and a heat press as well.
Now that we've gone over the materials, let's go ahead and hop over into Design Space and teach you all how to fill in shapes with words. Now that we're here, you can see the finished product, but I'm going to scroll over here to the side and I'm going to teach you how to get to this point. So the first thing you want to do is you want to decide what shape you are wanting to create, whether that is a snowman or anything else. You need to have a general idea of what shape you want to fill in. So today we are doing a snowman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my basic shape and I'm going to grab 2 circles, or I'm going to grab a circle and then I'm going to duplicate it, okay? So we're going to start creating kind of like a silhouette of what we want to create. So if you wanted to do a snowman with 3 tiers, you can, 2 tiers, whatever. So we kind of have a general idea. Now, one thing I do highly suggest is if you are adding other cut files in, so I'm going to be adding his top hat, the scarf, and everything else, you need to do so now with your template so that you don't run into any issues when you are adding your extras later. So now that we're here on the website, we're going to search the cut files that we're going to be using. So the first one we're going to be doing is the Walking in a Winter Wonderland Snowman. So I'm just going to search Walking in a Winter. It should pop right up. And this is the snowman we're going to use for the hat and the arms. So I'm just going to download that. And then for the scarf, the one that I'm going to be showing you how to manipulate is the snowman family file. So this one, we're going to download that. We're going to unzip it. Now this is a PNG, but I'm going to show you how to manipulate it. Back in Design Space, we're going to go to Uploads. We're going to upload image. I'm going to pop back over to my Finder, and I'm going to drag and drop this PNG in here. And then I wanted a complex image. We're going to go to Continue. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase everything that is not this scarf. So once we have all of these erased here around the scarf, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my eraser tool in here, pop it up really big, and just erase everybody else away from here. And just so you all know, you can do this with any PNG. You can really manipulate it if you want certain areas of the PNG to be a cut file. So now I can go to Preview Cut Image, and it's going to show me that it's just the scarf that it's going to cut. So now what I want to do is I'm going to hit Apply and Continue. I don't want this as a print and cut image. I want this as a cut image. So now I'm going to upload that. And here you can see we have the scarf separate from everything else. But before we move to our canvas, we are going to upload the Walking in a Winter Wonderland. So I'm going to bring my Finder back up. Pull this in as an SVG. Then we're going to upload. And now we have both of these files ready to put on our canvas. So I'm going to select them both and add them to canvas. Once they are here, I'm going to separate my scarf and my Winter Wonderland, and I'm going to size my scarf down to where I want it. And here I notice I need to bring the snowman's head down just a bit, move the scarf over, and then here I'm going to go to Contour, and I'm actually just going to hit Hide All Contours because I find like that's the easiest, and with this one specifically, and then coming back and picking the ones that you want. So I want to leave the hat. I want that word gone. I want the berries and the leaves. And I also want the arms. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this over, size it accordingly. And the good part about this is from here, from this point, you can separate these two out. So if you wanted to, we could duplicate this, come back to Contour, contour out the hat, so now we just have the arms separate. We can size those up and place them where they need to go. And if you do that, you need to make sure you come back and contour out the arms over here. And now you have your hat that you can size individually. Now, just because I want to manipulate this a little bit more, I'm going to duplicate this hat and I'm going to come back to contour. I know this is a lot, but trust me, it's in the details that make this project so much better. I'm going to contour out the hat, and then all we're left with are the berries and the leaves. We're going to duplicate that again. And now I'm going to contour out the leaves so that I can make the berries larger. And then here I'm going to contour out the berries. So I'm going to zoom in because these are very small. I'm going to size them up, change the color to red. I'm going to go ahead and change the scarf color to red as well. We're going to change the arms to brown. And now I'm going to select this hat, contour out the leaves and berries there, bring the berries closer in, and move the leaves, change them to green, and move them in a little closer as well. And this is what I mean by it is really truly in the details that make a project look like it's store-bought or not. So selecting all of this, I'm just going to move it over and get it to fit. So now we have our base of what the shape that we are going to be filling in with words. Okay? If you want to, you can change these both to white, both of your circles to white, so that you can get a better feel of what it's going to look like. So the hardest part that I found of this project was going through all of the fonts that we have on our Makers Gonna Learn website and finding the ones that I wanted to use, which I have done for you. So it shouldn't be very hard for you to recreate this exact project. So we are gonna be using 6 different fonts today. I'm gonna show you how to upload one of those fonts, but you can do a rinse and repeat process for the other 5 if you don't already have them downloaded on your computer. So we're gonna go over to our Makers Gonna Learn website. We are gonna go to the font section, and I'm just gonna type in the first font that I'm gonna be using today, which is gonna be Angelina. And here you can see it's a beautiful script font. So to download that, you're gonna click the arrow pointing down. You're gonna come over here, double click that, double click it again, install it onto your computer, and then you will go back to Design Space. Make sure you save your project. Always, always, always save your project. And then from there, you're gonna go to View and reload your canvas. That way that font is now installed in Cricut Design Space as well. So making sure that you save your project is the biggest thing, because now we are right back where we were. One other thing that I want to talk about with this project is it's very important when you are pairing your fonts that you have a mixture of basic fonts, a thick font, maybe 1 or 2 script fonts, but you want them to all be very legible, because you want to make sure you can see all of the different names that you are putting in your snowman. So like I said, Angelina is going to be the first font. So let's go over here to our fonts or text. We're going to go to our system fonts. We're going to type in Angelina. And this is the one that I use for the bottom that just says the Griffith family. So if you want to go ahead and type out the Griffith family or whatever family you're doing it for, you can. Now, if this is a font that you want to do with all of the different names, let me show you a trick for this part that will make designing this so much easier. So the next font that we're going to use is Century. And I highly suggest you doing this next step, whatever fonts you decide to choose. So this is Century. I felt like this was a very Christmas type font, and I just had to have it in this project. So once you have your next font, I highly suggest you typing out all of the different names that you are going to be using in your project. So for this one, we are going to be doing Alicia. Then I'm going to the next line, hitting enter. We're going to do Ruby. We're going to do Trey, Georgia, Margie, and Mike. Okay? So now you can see what all of these different names look like with this font. And I actually think that I want the M's to be just plain. So with this font, a capital M looks like this, a lowercase m looks like this. Now there may be an instance where you want it uppercase, but that's going to be a complete design preference. Once you have typed your names out, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, pull it over here to the side, and then I'm going to duplicate it, bring it over here, select everything in there, and then I'm going to change it to my second font. Now the second font that we're going to be using today is Duffy. Once again, I just felt like this was really Christmassy looking. These are two of the fancier fonts, I guess you could call it. The rest of them are going to be, we're going to have one more script font, and then the other two are going to be pretty plain. So once again, we're going to duplicate this, bring it down here, select all the names. Our third font that we're going to be using is Art Deco. And then all of our names get changed to Art Deco. We're going to duplicate again, select them all. Our next font is going to be Baby Breath. Now this is the script font that we are going to be doing here, and then we're going to duplicate one more time, and I'm going to bring it to this side. And this font, the last font we're going to be using is Funky Disco. So we're just going to type in Funky Disco. And those are the 5 main fonts that I'm going to be using in this design. Now what I highly suggest you doing after this, just to kind of streamline the process, is take each group. So we're going to select this group. We're going to go to Advanced. We're going to ungroup that to lines. That way each name is all going to be its own separate thing now. And we're going to just rinse and repeat. So Advanced, ungroup to lines, Advanced, ungroup to lines, Advanced, ungroup to lines, and then finally ungroup to lines. So now we have everyone's name already pre-typed out. So all you have to do is grab the name, duplicate it, and put it where you want it on your snowman. At this point, we are going to start the assembling of filling this shape. So you want to start out with making your bigger words. You want to have everyone's name pretty large on the shape. So let's start out with the bottom and work our way up. So I want to start out, we'll start with Mike. And one thing is, not all fonts are going to be the same. So here I'm going to have to go back and capitalize that M. So I'm going to start with Mike. We'll bring Mike in here. I want to make Mike not super large, but pretty big. And then, because I use this font, actually we're gonna, now one thing I did is I brought Mike in from over there, but we want to make sure we keep it. So let's just duplicate that and bring it back over here so we have it here. Next, I want to do Margie in this Art Deco font, so I'm going to duplicate that. We'll make it a little bit bigger, bring it in here, and then just kind of position them. And one thing you can do, there are some fonts that you can unlock and stretch a little bit, will work for this project, but not all fonts look good stretched. So we're just going to make this one a little smaller. We'll make Margie just a tad bit smaller. And then next we'll have Alicia. I'm going to duplicate this, bring it over. Now you do want some of your text going vertical as well. One thing you can do is come up here to rotate this 90 degrees, and then position somewhere where it would fit. So this is a little bit big, let's move it down. Next we're gonna do tray. So I want to do tray in this font. We're gonna duplicate. We'll bring tray down here. Put it right there. And then we need Ruby. We'll put Ruby up here. And then we also need Georgia. I also just realized that I typed out Georgie, but it's supposed to be Georgia, so I'm gonna go change all of this to where it says Georgia. And then I think I want to rotate Georgia, so I'm gonna type in 270 for this one. And then we're gonna put Georgia here. Now, at this point, it's all about filling in your space. One thing I do want you all to remember is you don't have to get it perfectly around your shape. As long as you have a general idea or have it close, that's really what matters the most. So you wanna make them all different sizes, going different ways, up and down, vertical, horizontal, big, little, whatever. You are just gonna go through, add in all of these different names, different ways. And once you are done designing, it should look very similar to this. What you need to do next is we are going to delete out all of these names because we no longer need them. And now you have your base of your project. Now, we were just using the circles as guides, so we no longer need those either. So we're gonna just delete out, make sure you're not anything else. You're gonna be coming to your circles on your layers panel, and we're gonna be deleting our circles out. Now what you're gonna wanna do is you're definitely gonna want to work through your layers panel right now because there are a lot of layers to this project, as you can see. What you're gonna do, the best way that I found to do is to hide all of your pieces of your snowman right now to kind of get it out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and hide his top hat and the berries and stuff. We don't want to move them, we just want to hide them. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to grab the Griffith family. I'm going to move it up just a little bit. And without doing anything else, I'm going to drag way far away because all of these names right now are individual and can be moved. So we're going to over here, so we make sure we don't move anything, select all of this, come down here to combine and unite them together. So that's going to unite everything under one layer so it all is together. Now you can come back down here and unhide all of the little elements to your snowman. And now you can kind of move this around if you would like. Once you have done that, you are now going to select everything together. Okay, we're selecting it all. And we are going to come up here to offset, and we are going to add an offset. Now we're going to be adding 2 offsets. So the first one doesn't need to be super huge, because we're going to add another offset, and that's going to be our white glitter layer for the ornament. So for this first offset, we're going to do 0.15 and see how that looks. And I'm actually going to bring it up to, let's do 1/8. It's still a little bit, I still want just a teeny bit more. So let's bring it up to 0.2, and I think that will be perfect. That one is a lot better. So we're gonna go ahead and apply, but you still see that we have, we'll change it to white. You still see we have some of these little guys inside. We're just gonna go to contour. We're gonna hide all contours. Actually, we're gonna leave that guy in there. We want that cut out, but I don't want those things cut out. We're gonna make sure all of these layers are selected and we're gonna flatten those all together. So now it is just one flattened piece, okay? So this is what we are going to be printing on the inkjet transparency. Obviously 11 inches is a little big, so we're going to size this down to about 6 inches will be a good, a good size. And then before we send this to the printer, we do need to give it one more layer, one more offset, so that we can cut it out of our glitter cardstock. So we're gonna go back to offset one more time. 0.25 is gonna be way too big for this one, so we're just gonna pull it down, go with 0.15, we'll see how that is. I like 0.15, so we're gonna apply that. I want that little guy out of there, so we're gonna change that from a print and cut to a basic cut function. Go to contour and contour out these little pieces in here. Beautiful. So now we have our outside, and then here we have what we're gonna be printing out. From there, we're gonna go to make it. Once you are here, make sure that your size of your paper is 8.5 by 11 because we are working with an 8.5 by 11 piece of transparency film. So we're gonna hit continue. We're gonna send this to our printer, turn bleed off, and always use system dialog. Like I said, our favorite inkjet printer is our Canon TS9500 series. So we're gonna hit print. Our print dialog box is gonna pull up behind Design Space. I'm going to be feeding this from the rear tray. I'm going to choose photo paper because it is a glossy paper, and we're gonna print it on best quality. Once it is printed, you do want it to dry just a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and place it down on our mat. One thing that I do suggest is kind of touching the outside edges just to make sure that it is dry. And it is, and we're gonna take our brayer and we're gonna bray this down onto our mat. Once you have done that, we are going to go back to Design Space. I'm gonna be cutting this on the Mylar setting today. And I'm going to use more pressure. So I'm going to change from default to more, and then we're going to load this into our Cricut. And then we're going to hit play. And now what it's going to do is our Cricut is going to register those registration marks so that it knows exactly where to cut. Once that is done, one thing that I highly suggest you doing is coming in here and making sure that it has clean cuts, because if it does not cut through, you do not want to unload, which right now it looks like it could use, I think that I could get it off, but I also think that it could use another pass. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hit the play button again, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna bring this back through the Cricut, and it's going to cut in the exact same spot one more time. Now I can see that I've got such a better cut on this, and it really is gonna weed beautifully. So I'm just going to unload my mat, bring it over here, and take our transparency sheet off, and look how good that did. Now we're just going to unload it from our mat, always going with gravity for this. And now you have the first part of our little snowman ornament completed. Now I'm going to add our white glitter cardstock onto our mat. Bray it down really well. We're going to be setting our base material on glitter cardstock. And sending it to our machine. Once it's finished, we're going to unload this from the mat. Same thing as before, flipping our mat over and unloading it, going with gravity. We're going to set this to the side. And now you have your base for your beautiful ornament, gift tag, whatever you want to use it as. Now, one other thing that I highly suggest you doing before you glue, I would come in here. Now, if you want to have the Cricut cut a hole, you can. I found it easier just to use a hole punch. So we're just going to line these up here. And the reason I say do this before gluing, that way you don't have glue in between and you don't ruin this. So we're just going to hold those both in place there. And come in here and add a hole. Once you have added your hole, we're going to flip this over. I'm just going to grab my Aleene's tacky glue and I'm going to add some, just a little bit here at the top. Now normally we would use the Zig two-way pen or even the ATG gun, but I have found that the Zig two-way pen does not at all like working. It doesn't like to work with glitter cardstock for some reason. So I've just added a little bit to the hat and the scarf where the color is. We're gonna line those holes up and just press down there. And then I'm just going to come in and add a little dot here at this arm, not a lot. It does dry clear, so I really love that. We're going to add just a little bit here at the bottom. Just enough to tack it down. And then let that sit and dry. Once it has dried, you're going to grab your baker's twine or whatever ribbon you want to use. We're going to string it through this hole. And then tie our little hanger on here. You can do it with a bow, you can do it with a knot, really whatever you prefer. Just make sure it's really good and tight. And then I'm just going to bring my scissors in here and trim off the excess. And there you go, your very own custom name ornament, gift tag, whatever, filling this shape with words. Was this not so much fun? Now, this is something that I truly absolutely enjoy doing. The designing portion of using my Cricut is my absolute favorite thing to do, figuring out ways that we can make something that we see that we really like. So I hope you all have learned something throughout this video. Now, if you wanted to create the same thing, but you wanted to sublimate, you can do it all in Design Space, and then once you go to print it, or print and cut, you just make sure that you change your paper size. For example, this one we printed on 8.5 by 11 so that we could get the bigger size. Go over to the taskbar, change your paper size on your print and cut image, and then send it to your sublimation printer. And we press this at 385 degrees for 60 seconds. Now, if you want to recreate this exact same project, but you do not have access to the files or the fonts that I use, let me invite you to the Maker's Gonna Learn membership. Within our membership, you get thousands of cut files and hundreds of fonts so that you can recreate everything that you see here on our channel. If you want to learn more about Maker's Gonna Learn, make sure you click that first link down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. I absolutely cannot wait to get crafty with you all this Christmas season, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial. So the project we have today, we really want to, we are going to be making something, but I want to truly focus in on, we're going to focus in on the technique. Yes. Because the project we're going to be doing, it is a sublimation project. Yeah. However, this can be done with print and cut. This can be done with printable HTV, printable vinyl. There's so many different things you can do with this project. So I really want to focus on the technique. We're not going to, we are going to tell you how we do it, what we do, the process with sublimation. Of course,
we're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it, but we're really gonna focus in on how you all can create basically your own custom alphabet using a font that we have and a pattern that is found on our website.
Yeah. And we have hacks. We have hacks today where you're going to know how to make the pattern actually look good. Because a lot of patterns end up looking poor and you don't know what they are. So the one hack that we have will just like chef's kiss for you on the process. It'll be really, really good.
So let me get this pulled up. Do we have the actual, oh, it's back there. You know what, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna make this together. You all saw the project on the thumbnail, so we will make this together in just a second. Give me 2 seconds and let me get this pulled up. On the table, what we have our sublimation blank. Now this is linked down below. These came from Michael's, I'm pretty sure. It's just their sublimation blank mug. We love these. They are sublimation ready. You don't have to put anything on them. We do have our, what do you want to call these? Heat gloves. We do have a lint roller. We have some scissors. We do have the Condi Dye Trans Pro Spray 2. This is the sublimation adhesive spray that you can spray on your print and place it on your blank. And then the biggest and most important thing, especially if you are using a sublimation oven, in my opinion, is going to be these silicone wraps. These are to keep the sublimation print snug to your design. Now, I know we tape things down. I know we spray things. I know we try our best to get this down, but remember when we use a heat press or something else, we always tell you that what activates the sublimation. I hate to tell you. So, with that being said, we are going to, let's just go ahead and hop over to Design Space. Let's do that. So what you're gonna need, we are using 2 different text or 2 different fonts today. We are gonna have to download one of them, and I'm gonna show you exactly how we're gonna do that. That is why this one's not downloaded. That's why it's doing this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop over to Maker's Gonna Learn. We're gonna go to Fonts, okay? And then, you have to be a member. Well, I am a member. Maker's Gonna Learn. What are you doing? Okay, we're gonna go to our fonts. And what we're gonna do, the font that we're gonna be using today is Miranda. So we're just going to search for that font. We are going to click the arrow pointing down, which is our download button. And then we are going to double click, open that back up. We are going to double click that OTF, that is the font file. Here you see it's going to open up our font book. Now if you are a Windows user, it is going to be called a character map. It is the same process. You are still going to download, you are still going to double click to open, and you are still going to double click to open that font. Now when you get to this point, it's going to look a lot different, but it's still going to be at the bottom where you can hit install font. What you're gonna do, make sure that font is installed. From there, we're gonna go back to Design Space, not to our Finder. And then we are going to go to View, and we are going to reload Design Space. Now, excuse me, if you are working on something and you haven't saved it, you need to save before you reload, because if you don't save and then you reload, guess what? You're gonna lose everything you've just worked on. So make sure that you save before you reload. I've not worked on anything yet, so I'm just gonna hit reload. What that's gonna do, it is going to reload Cricut Design Space, and then it's going to recognize the new font that you have uploaded onto your computer. Now, did you guys know that a font that you have downloaded from Maker's Gonna Learn, you download to your computer, you can use in multiple programs, not just Cricut Design Space.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go. So, what you are then going to do, the next font that we're going to be using, let's talk about this hack real quick.
Ooh.
Because I forgot what font this was. It looks very similar to the font that I used yesterday on Asher's name, and I'm pretty sure it is. But
Cin's letting us know that might be misspelled up there. Claws.
it is.
We'll fix that real fast before we move on with the hack, Cin. We are so blessed to have you here.
It is.
What would we do without? If
It's
y'all didn't know,
no E.
Cin, yeah, Cin has been on our team for many years, and she proofreads everything that goes out here. God love you.
Oh, you know what? I just deleted that and I needed that font. So the hack is if you hover over this and you right click and then you scroll all the way down to image info, you can see the selected font is Daydream. So now I know that this is Daydream. I can delete that out. I can go back to text. I can grab a text box. I can go to my fonts, systems, search for Daydream. Boom. It is the same font we used yesterday. Look at that, because we had an issue with the X. And we're just going to type in claws like that. Now, remember what I said yesterday about kerning fonts? We're going to have to kern this one, guys. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to Advanced, Ungroup to Letters, click this S, and then we are going to place it where it is going to look the best. I'm trying to figure out where I want it. I think that's going to look the best. I mean, it's kind of going, the word is kind of going up, but I really don't know how else I would want it.
Yeah, it looks really, it's gonna look really good.
Do we like it better down? So this is going to be a personal preference.
Yeah.
You can either move the S down where it's connected this way, which is probably, if I was writing this out,
How it would
like
end up.
that's how I would write it. I would come up, S, down, and back. I don't much care for it there because it just looks like it's moving up. So we're going to,
Yeah, that looks balanced.
this looks a lot more balanced.
Yeah.
So we're just going to, that's what kerning fonts is moving, moving things around. So once we have done that, we're going to select all of this, and I'm going to go to combine and unite those back together. And then I'm just going to change the color of those to a beautiful red color. Now, this is just what we're going to do next is really the meat of this project. So I'm going to make this bigger, make our mama bigger. And I'm actually, let me hide claws for right now so I can get it out of the way and show you guys what we're going to be doing. So you're going to choose a pattern that you want. Now the key with this is whatever pattern you choose, you don't want to make your pattern too large, okay? Because let's say we make this pattern this big to cover the whole word. Right? So we love the pattern when it's smaller, but if you wanted to slice this whole pattern out of this word, let me show you what happens. And then I can just undo, okay? So what you would do, this is why we don't do it large, because we want to see the details of the trees. So if we just do it to cover the whole word and then hit slice, look what happens. You lose all of the details of the trees. Like the trees are gone. It does not look near as good. So what you're gonna want to do, let's back. What I want to do next, so you saw how if you make your pattern large, that you lose the integrity of the pattern, and you don't want to do that. So what you need to do is make your pattern as small as you can to fit your letter. Now, my suggestion to you, we have Mama topped out. We love that. But what we're gonna do, because when I come over here, it's kind of hard to fit that there and then not hit this other letter. What I like to do is go to, that's not a slice result. Oh, I guess it is. It was a slice result because I sliced through it.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Let's just type in Mama again, because this is what's gonna happen if you have an actual font. Let's type in Miranda. This is the font we're using. We're gonna get rid of this Mama. We're gonna type in Mama. There we go. Make it a little bit bigger. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Advanced. Once again, I'm gonna ungroup to letters. That way each of these individual letters are separate, and now I can place this A on top of the Christmas trees. I can even make it a little smaller.
And this is the hack, y'all. If you want to know the secret about working with patterns, it's doing this, because now you'll see so many more trees in the pattern.
So now we're gonna select both the A and the trees. Actually, what you may want to do before that is duplicate our tree pattern so we have an extra and we don't have to go back and download it.
So smart.
But we are going to select both the A and the Christmas tree pattern and come down here to slice. So now you can see that we do have an A sliced out of that Christmas tree pattern. We're gonna delete that. And y'all, now you can see more of those Christmas trees. And I love that. So next we're gonna do the M. I want to bring this to front. So we're gonna go to Arrange, Bring to Front, so that it is in front of these Christmas trees. That fits perfectly there in that square.
And that A has 6 different trees in it. Like, you can see so much.
Yeah, and the other one, when we made the pattern big enough to fit the whole word, you might have gotten one tree.
You wouldn't even see a full tree, really.
You wouldn't see, if you did not see a full tree at all, okay? So what you're going to do now is bring these two together and then slice those out. And I didn't duplicate that, but it's okay, because you know what? With this project, we don't need it anymore.
Right.
So now we have the 2 letters that we're going to use. Now, if you are using more letters than for Mama or whatever, obviously you're gonna repeat that process. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just going to duplicate this and duplicate the A, and then I'm gonna show you another hack, okay? Are you all ready for this hack? So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna select all of these letters. We are going to go to Align. We are going to distribute them horizontally, okay? Did y'all see what just happened? So if you want the letters super close together, you can move them closer, you can kind of line them up. It doesn't really matter. So we have, if we wanted the A here and we wanted Mama to fit within, let's say we wanted Mama to fit within this A and that M. If we wanted it spread out a lot. You see how there's a big gap here. What we can do if we want to make sure there's even amount of space in between each letter, we can select them, align, distribute horizontally. Boom.
Boom.
If we want them closer, we bring this A in closer to that M, even though it's overlapping that second M. Watch this. Select them all, align, distribute horizontally.
Lauren, now that's the hack that should have been in the 20 hacks. 20 more Cricut hacks to take a beginner to a pro. I didn't even know that.
You didn't know that?
How many of us?
All you have to do is have your first letter and your last letter, the space that you want it to be, and then have the other letters selected and distribute horizontally.
Y'all, did you just learn something? I just learned something, and I've been teaching y'all for like half a decade.
Look, I even moved that A in a little bit more because I wanted a little bit closer together. Select them all, align, distribute horizontally.
Okay,
and
y'all.
then while they're all selected,
I know what you're
go
doing.
back to align, and we can align them to the bottom.
Boom. That A needed to be brought down. Look at that.
Look.
Guys, we just learned something together. How amazing is that? Our minds are blown.
So watch this. We're going to have this A there, that M. And now they do have to be within, you know, each other. So look at them now, okay? They're all spread out everywhere, right? We're going to select them all, align. We're going to first distribute horizontally, okay? Then we're going to align and align them to the bottom.
Boom. That is so good. Yeah, Megan says, Tanner, you need to watch more of the lives. I sure darn do. People are teaching all sorts of stuff I've never even done before. And if you guys haven't seen our 20 more Cricut hacks to take you from beginner to pro, it debuted Sunday and it already has like close to 10,000 views. So super cool.
So for some reason I lost the claws because it's not on the layers.
But you can
panel.
build it again.
We're gonna build it again. But before we do that, we're gonna go to combine. We don't wanna weld that together. Now, this is why I have a lot of people ask this question, I feel like in customer service. Why can't I combine? Why can't I unite? Why can't I do this? Well, y'all, first of all, this is a print and cut. So that's why you can't do anything. You cannot use any of these combine functions other than weld with a print and cut feature, okay?
Yeah.
It has to be a basic cut function for you to be able to use unite, subtract, intersect, and exclude.
Right.
So the workaround for that, what you can and need to do if you are wanting to keep your stuff together is instead of, I would not go to weld yet because we never know, we may want to move it around again. I want to go to attach. And we're just going to attach those all together, okay? That's the function that you're going to use if you are working with print and cut features, okay? Now, I lost the claws. We're going to go build it again. We're going to go back to our text. We're going to go to our font Daydream. We're going to select that and we're going to type in claws. Once again, we're going to have another little fun kerning hack. We're going to ungroup to letters. We're going to show you how to do this. So we've got these ungrouped. We're going to select our S. We're going to move it down, make it more balanced. I'm going to move my U over just a tiny bit more, select my S, move it over just because I am very weird and I have to have everything right with this. Okay, now you see now, because all of these letters say basic cut underneath them, now we have the option to use all of these combined features. So now we're going to unite, but it's not going to be a combined feature here. It's not going to be basic cut for too much longer. So what we're going to do now, we are going to place our claws where we want it underneath our words. Now, once again, this is going to be a personal preference. If you want the claws to be over top of the mama, which I think looks good, you can do that. You can have it out to the side. You can center it here. You can do it in front, all the way in front. All of this is going to be a design preference, okay? There are a couple different things that you can do. If you want to leave it like this, to see what it would look like once it prints, I would select both of them and flatten them together. And you can see we kind of just lose the top of this just a little bit. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to unflatten them. We're going to change claws. We're just going to leave it as a print and cut, but what we're going to do, we're going to add an offset to claws. Now, I don't want a large offset. We're just going to let's try 0.1. I think I like the 0.1. You're going to apply that. Now, because this is a print and cut feature, you don't have to slice out the mama. Really, all you have to do is go to your colors. You can change your colors to white, and it gives you the same effect as if you were working with basic cut and having to cut this out. Now, I feel like we have done this hack a few times when we are cutting vinyl and HTV and things like that, and we have to slice it out and everything else. But the cool thing with print and cut is you don't have to slice. So let's change our color of our canvas so you can actually see what I'm talking about. You see how this is now an offset. If you wanted to change the color of the offset, you could do that. But because we're putting it on a white surface and I want it to look like it is cut out of the mama, I'm just gonna leave it white. So I am going to take this, we are going to flatten all this together. I'm gonna change my canvas back to white because that's the color of the blank that I'm using, and it looks like you have sliced out mama.
So good.
And you have the claws in there with it. Okay?
Love it. We got it. Look how good it looks, Lauren. I love it.
Yes. And Michelle made a really good, made a good observant. She said, I'm not a super huge fan of that font, but that's okay because membership gives me access to thousands of fonts.
Yeah.
So she is obviously still winning.
Oh, yeah.
This may not be your favorite font. That's okay. You can choose from the hundreds of fonts that we have on our website. Now, one thing I do want to make sure that you all know and understand, especially if you are trying to create your own alphabet, a new alphabet with the pattern that you want. Let's say you have an event coming up, a birthday party. Birthday party is a great example. And let's say you're doing a birthday party for a little somebody in your life, maybe your grandchildren, your child, whatever, and tie-dye is the first big pattern that comes to mind. And they want something like with a shirt that says their name in a tie-dye font on it. I suggest using a block font. It's always going to look better if you have a block font because you're going to be able to see the pattern through it. You can find, we have so many tie-dye patterns on our website. Go on there, look around, pick a pattern, have their name. If you don't have access to do sublimation, no worries. You can do this on printable HTV.
Yeah.
And it gives you the exact same effect. And it's still a beautiful shirt.
Now, have you showed them how to flatten yet?
I did.
Oh, it's all flattened?
Yep.
So now
I selected all of it and I flattened it.
Now, this is where the going gets good. Today, we're about to sublimate. But like Lauren's saying, if you don't have sublimation, if you don't do that, no worries. You can do it any other way. You would just do it with your material. So we're going to sublimate today.
Yep.
But get ready. I already saw some of you asking questions. Our sublimation process is going up. So if you want to get that, just hurry before Sunday. Super good. I'm so excited to put it on this mug. We're going to be using it. Lauren, we're going to have to start making some hot lattes in the espresso maker.
I know.
I love it.
So what we're going to do now, I am going to grab my mug. This is the only thing about these mugs is they get a little heavy on one side.
Right.
So I have to put something underneath the little handle. So I want to measure the area that I'm going to be working with to see how large I truly want it to be. With this mug specifically, I mean, we're looking at 3.5. You could go up to 4 if you want to, but it's gonna wrap halfway around the mug. So I don't know, it's really a personal preference. If you want it on the side, it's gonna look the best if it's on, one side. So I'm thinking, and you all can, drop your comments what you think you would do. I'm thinking 3.5, 4 at most. So let's go back to Design Space. We are going to change the width because the width I said we didn't want it any wider than 4 inches. So I'm gonna make sure that my design is locked. You can see here it is unlocked. So if I go in to type the width as 4, it's gonna move all of this in and stay the same height, and we do not want that. So we're gonna move the width into, let's just do 4 to begin with. See what I mean? I even told you guys not to do it and I did it myself. Now it says it's locked. So there. It resized it the way it should. Jan says 3.5 for me, all of that. And April said, are you supposed to put that so you can view it or on the other side for people to see? That is the great debate when it comes to mug making.
I think it's for other people to see.
Do you put it on your side for you to see it? Do you put it on this side for other people to see it? Which side do you use? Which hand do you use to drink your coffee? Do you use your right hand or do you use your left hand?
Wow.
I say for that, you put it on both sides. I mean, I don't know.
love
It really
I
is.
love it.
I've seen so many people debate over that, like which side do you put it on? I'm with Tanner.
Yeah.
I think it would go on the side that other people see. And that's another thing. Like, does your customer use their left hand to drink their coffee? Which hand would you use to use a mug with? I would use my left.
I think it would be my left.
I would use my left.
Because I'm texting with my right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got work to do.
Comfortable. It's comfortable for
I
me to
don't
hold
drink
it
a
in
lot
my...
of hot things, so it's, I'd
Like-
probably put an iced coffee in there.
When I go to pick it up,
Yeah, left hand.
it's left hand.
Okay, these are really good questions. And just to let you guys know, I didn't even know this. The pattern from the mama is actually a Maker's Gonna Sublimate file. So I saw a member looking for that. I went to tell you, like, look at the description for the link, and it's actually from our sublimation course. So we always put our supply list down below. And if you're a member, we always link our files used. So that's available to you in the description box down below.
But did you all know, go over to our
Shared screen.
share screen. Did you know that we have a section on the Maker's Gonna Learn website that just has patterns? So really and truly, you can go there and you can find lots of different patterns.
Maybe just search
here.
Christmas patterns. See if there's any like Christmas pattern. I don't know. It'd be so cool if we could find some that you could use on the platform. Which I know there are.
we know. I can already tell you. This one, I love this one.
Look at that one down in the bottom.
This one is one of my favoriits too. I've used it multiple
I
times.
love that one.
There is another one that
many.
I thought had trees.
Just take some time going through the Christmas section of the website. That's my
Yes.
secret. There's thousands. We have a huge category of Christmas.
This one just
Has a lot of options.
Let's talk about this one real quick. This one is not one that you would think that you could use, but because there are lines on the bottom, you could make your letters small enough, because I love the little green details and I love the colors like the tan, like peachy, and the red together.
Yeah.
Make your letters small enough and just slice out of the bottom of that would be beautiful. These
that.
are things that I feel like you all need to think about when you're creating things. Just because this says Poinsettia Christmas card does not mean it's only a card file.
Right,
there are
right.
so many things that you can use for this.
Yeah.
So you could use the bottom half of this to customize and make your own like striped pattern, like striped candy pattern.
Yes.
This one's cute too.
Yeah, super good. Okay, well, let's get this project going, because guess who's going to stop by? Alicia with her baby. She's coming over. She's bringing the baby.
Okay, well let's turn this oven on real quick.
I love it. I love it.
We are using the oven today. So I've just duplicated this. We'll put it on both sides just to be funsies, I guess. Like I said, I just duplicated it. We are printing it on 8.5 by 11. We're gonna go to, and I'm gonna move it away from our black edges there. We're gonna go to continue. We are going to send it to printer. We are going to turn bleed off and use system dialog, okay?
So good.
From there, we're gonna click print. We're gonna pull this down. It's gonna pop up back here. We are gonna be using the SureColor F170 series today. I'm going to give me just a second, make
Come
sure
back
it is
over,
turned
y'all.
on.
What questions?
And when he says save you time and money on,
Lauren has invested days recently doing some updates. So
let's go to one. Let's talk about this. So I don't know if you all know or understand, but with sublimation, there are different brands of sublimation ink, as well as different printers. With each printer, there are different settings. With each type and brand of ink, there are different settings. So what we have done, we teach you, and one of the things we're actually going to be adding that is not in the course now, we talk about the Epson ET8550, which is our go-to wide format printer now. I have spent 2 long, grueling days testing and testing and testing and getting the color profiles right so that you all get the best print quality and the best colors out of this conversion printer, okay? So when I tell you there's 15 blanks out there that I have sublimated on, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
And Tanner did the same thing when we created the course. in the beginning.
Over 2 years ago.
Using StarCraft sublimation ink.
So we've tested a lot, and we're continually pouring in. And if you join the program in 2021, you get all the updates. So all these new files that I always said I would never add more files to the sublimation course. Yeah, you're getting those coming next week. So it'll be really good. So excited.
So somebody did ask a good question. I saw that somebody asked, do you not have to print in reverse? Yes, you do have to mirror your image, but with the Epson or the Epson SureColor, because it is already set up to be a sublimation printer, it has a setting where it mirrors everything automatically. And the reason that I had the hardest time when we got this printer, because I kept turning mirror on, and every time I would print, and it would print it regular, and I'm like, what is going on? But it has a setting where it automatically mirrors it for you, so you don't have to remember it every single time, which I do love about that. Okay,
love it.
So what we're going to be doing now, we're turning it to this side because we're just going to do this side first. What I'm doing now, I have cut off the registration marks from Cricut Print and Cut. Don't need that. I'm actually going to take the sublimation adhesive spray. Now, I just want you guys to be aware, this is very sticky. So you're gonna want to hold it kind of away, and we're just gonna do that's all you need. Once that is down, it's gonna be very tacky. We're going to lay that on our cup. You see how well that lays down? Like, oh, I just love the spray. Okay, that's it. What I'm going to do next, I don't know if you all heard when we were going over all of the supplies. This is my absolute favorite thing to use, especially if you are going to be doing sublimation in an oven. You definitely need to take off your plastic lid. That does not need to be in there. And what we're going to do now is we're going to place our silicone wrap around our cup.
You can still use tape. We just love for this project to use the spray. It's definitely up to you.
Yes, you can use tape. I still use tape all the time.
Yeah.
So what this wrap does, because we're not using a press, now you all know we have a press. We love a tumbler press. If we were being honest, I would have probably used a tumbler press today, but I know that most of our people don't have a tumbler press.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we honor that and we recognize that you all don't have a tumbler press, and teach you how to do it with the best way to do it with the cheapest option possible.
Yeah.
Now
super good.
I did have some questions. Do you need to put it on both sides? Actually, once I printed this out, I realized how large that was. And if I would have put it on both sides, it would have almost touched each other.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to. I just put it on the side facing outward, depending on how you hold it. If you do put a design on both sides, yes, you need to do them both at the same side, at the same time. We also had somebody say that the wrap is out of stock. Y'all, all you have to do is search Amazon silicone mug wrap, and it's going to pop up. You can actually get them in sets of different sizes. You can get the skinny tumbler wrap, all of the above. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna come over here to our sublimation oven. We're doing it 400 degrees, 2 minutes one way. We're gonna flip it and do it 2 minutes the other way, so that it gets a really good even heat, heat all the way around it. Otherwise, if you don't do that, a lot of times what's gonna happen is it's going to give you ghosting, okay?
Yes.
Another thing that I highly discourage. Let's say I discourage y'all to do this. Ask me how I know. Put butcher's paper in the bottom of this.
Don't do
it.
We have the footage of Lauren catching it on fire.
We have the footage. I actually
You
posted it on my
cannot
TikTok.
do this. You cannot do this in a regular oven. That's a great question. Cannot do that.
You need to have an actual designated sublimation oven.
Yes.
Because once you sublimate in an oven, it needs to stay a designated sublimation oven because it does release fumes. Now, does it release enough fumes for me to be able to smell it right now? No.
April says, when you open the door, do you lose a lot of heat? You'll lose a little heat, but it's not any, it's very warm. 400 degrees is hot. I love it.
So we are reaching the 2-minute mark. So I'm gonna come back around here just because it's so much easier for me to do it from this side.
I love that.
And then after that hits 5 minutes, because I put it in at 7, I'm gonna turn it. And then we will let it go for 2 more minutes.
Pinky, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited that you're joining the membership today. So excited. We've had so many new members. Get in there, join the Facebook group, intro yourself, let us know who you are, what you craft. We'd love to meet you over in our member-only Facebook group. Click on your dashboard and you'll see the link to the Facebook group. So good. So good.
I am. It is a convection oven, yes.
Yeah, we love
this
that.
one came from Walmart. It is the Gourmet French door convection oven. I think you can get it right at $100, sometimes cheaper. We have had so many people that have found convection, like tabletop convection ovens, at yard sales.
Yep.
At secondhand, Goodwill.
We got ours at Black Friday. So Black Friday.
And we got it for like $50 on Black Friday.
It was great. It was back in, it was a while ago, but still, it was awesome.
This
so
one could be done in the mug press, yes, but my only thing, if you don't have a mug press yet, I don't think you need that. If you're gonna just do mugs, yeah, but like this gives you the option to do.
We highly recommend the oven
tumblers
over.
And so many other things.
Yep. We love that. Now I need a coffee. Yes, you do. You sure do. So good.
Also, as you all can see, I just went ahead and put both of these on because I know I'm going to be handling them with both.
That is so smart.
I hear Ruby do, and I'm super excited.
I know. I'm so excited to see the baby. So good. So good. But yes, cannot wait. Let us know if you have any questions. What we're going to do is once this comes out, we're going to let it cool for a second, show y'all, and then we'll be wrapping up. So if you have questions.
Ooh, Lisa, a little bit smoky.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, now let's go overhead. We're going to pop this guy off here.
Can Tina lay her skinny tumblers down in the oven, do you think? Oh,
look at that, y'all.
How good that looks.
Ooh, love it.
Love it. But
I about grabbed it with this hand.
We love this project. I mean, I want to touch it so bad. It is such, like, the colors are beautiful. If you're not getting these colors with your printer, what are you doing? Get the sublimation course. I know many of you are ready for it. Is this tumbler ready to use after it cools? Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally.
Ready to use.
What happens is that ink turns into a gas and gets absorbed into that thing.
I mean,
it's so cool.
If we want to get scientific, there's a whole process of that.
You got to watch the course to find out.
You do. It's still pretty hot.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. I have such a fun Design Space tutorial for you all. I can't wait to show you how easy it's gonna be for you all to take the techniques that we learn in today's Design Space tutorial and incorporate them into maybe your Christmas and fall crafts. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we made this beautiful little ornament, and while we're not going to be making the ornament today, I do want to show you how to do this super cute inset word into a big letter like this. I'm still thinking about a name for it, but I've just been calling it an offset word into a monogram font technique. If you have a good name for this, drop a comment below. I would love to hear it, but let's go ahead and get into Design Space, and I'm going to show you all how easy it's going to be for you to recreate this specific design. So actually, before we go into Design Space, I want to talk about selecting your fonts for this specific project. Now, on the Maker's Gonna Learn website, we've got tons, thousands even, of font choices. And so what I want to encourage you all to do is go into our fonts and browse around for a bold font and a script font. So we want to have somewhat contrasting fonts, but for our monogram, a bold font's going to be your best choice. And I like to look for these in basic. So you can just select basic. And then if you already know the name that you want to use, you can go ahead and type in that letter and then hit preview. And that way, whenever you're scrolling in our sample text, you can kind of get a preview of what it's going to look like. I'm going to zoom in for you all so you can really get a look here. So you can see in our simple text, if I'm using a B, I'm going to be able to kind of get a preview over here of what it's going to look like. Now, I love this twirls and swirls. This is perfect. I like the style of it. It's very thick, as you can see. So I'm going to use this for our main monogram. Now, feel free to kind of browse around and see if you can find any other ones that you like. But this one's going to work perfectly for me. I'm going to go ahead and install this onto our computer and then on to Cricut Design Space. Now, if you're new to downloading fonts and you haven't become a member, we go over this in detail in our 30 Days to Master Your Cricut, which is inside of our membership. But downloading fonts does not have to feel daunting. That's what we're here for, to show you all exactly how to do it all. So I'm going to go ahead, reload Design Space. This is going to allow my font to pop in here. So I'm going to go ahead and select text. This is going to just pop up a text box. Type out B. I'm going to drag it so it's big and you all can really see what I'm doing here. And then inside fonts, we're going to go to System Fonts. This is where our downloaded fonts live. And I'm going to type in Twirls and Swirls. And look how stinking cute that is. Look at the little loop-de-loop. I love that. So this is the base, okay? And now we're going to need to use a script font. Now, I think I've got one already downloaded that I like. So I'm just going to type out the name that I want here, okay? So we're going to use the name Blair today. And then under fonts, I'm just going to X off of what I searched before, and we're going to search for a really cute script font. Now, Vegas is a really good one. I feel like these go together really well. So you can kind of browse and see what you prefer. I really actually love these together, so I'm going to stick with that. So we've got our two elements, okay? We've got our big letter, and then we have our name. What I'm going to do now is rotate this 90 degrees. So I'm going to select the name, and then up here at this rotate portion, I'm going to type in -90. This is going to turn it to the left 90 degrees. And then what you're going to want to do is resize this. Now I'm going to change the color so you all can really get a super good visual here. Okay, so you can see this is almost going from top to bottom of this big letter. We're going to be adding an offset to this word. So I want to shrink it just a little bit, but not too much, just enough to allow us an offset. And so I can click off of there and just kind of see I've got room for a little bit of an offset all the way around, including the top and the bottom. Now, the next thing that I want to do is make sure that Blair is selected. And then up here, you can see this offset option. I'm going to select offset. And immediately you can see this blue line all the way around. Okay. Now, this is a 0.25 offset. This is almost perfect for what we're needing right now. So I'm going to go ahead and select apply. Okay. And just looking at this, my offset is very close to the top of this B, but it's not as close to the bottom. So I'm just going to select the offset as well as Blair and kind of scooch it down until it's exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to click off of it. Okay. The next thing you're going to want to do is hop over to your layers panel. Now, when you're working in Design Space, the layers panel is a great place to live. There's just a lot of benefit in utilizing that layers panel. I feel like we forget about it because we're in our canvas so much, but you can really select very precisely what you want when you're using the layers panel. There's just a lot of benefit to kind of living in this area to work on designs. And so what I'm going to do is select the offset. I'm going to hold the shift key down and select the B. Okay, so Blair is not selected. This is not selected. Only the offset and the B. What you're going to do next is go to slice. Okay, and it's going to give you something like this. Now you can look up here and see we've got we actually have 4 slice results, but we want to keep this B. So I'm going to select all of these. You can hold the shift key down and then trash them all. Okay, this is gonna allow Blair to be inset inside of the bee. Y'all, that is literally it. Now, I know like these are probably not the colors I'm gonna use. You can play around with your colors here before you actually go to cut it. Like for instance, we were doing on our ornament, we had a white bee and Blair was actually in like a mirrored silver, and I linked those vinyls down below for you all, as well as the glitter and all of that. And you can even change the canvas color so you can get a really good visual of what your design's gonna look like in the end. But feel free to play around with different fonts. But I want you all to really get creative with this and think, how can I incorporate that offset technique into my other designs? Okay, I know that was a quick tutorial, but something fun and easy for you all to incorporate into your holiday decor or any other crafts that you've got coming up. We love to teach you all new techniques around here. And if you love what you saw today, make sure to go onto the Maker's Gonna Learn website, check us out, look at all of our cut files, look at all of our fonts. We have thousands, you all, over 15,000 cut files for you all to use that are great for all of your crafting needs. Again, my name is Alicia. Thank you all for watching this tutorial. I hope that you found something new and learned something new, and we cannot wait to see you in the next one. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you're notified every single time that we post, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.